I'd like to call the
Doing the tax.
I'd like to call the Selectmen's meeting to order for Monday, November 6th. Can we please have a moment of silence for Springland, Texas? Thank you. Could we please stand and honor America with a pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item of business is setting the 2017 tax rate. Diane?
Okay, the printout that I distributed, okay, is the unreserved fund balance at the end of December 31st, 2016, in the amount of $1,494,245, $494,245.
May I have a copy? Is that? Thank you.
And then the rate, if we were to use just 100,000, would be $11.02 currently. And if you were to apply 120,000, it would reduce it by 2 cents, and then so on and so forth.
Any thoughts, gentlemen?
Well, we talked about it on Friday,
Yes.
and our undesignated fund balance right now is $1,494,245. If we were just to use the state recommendations, we've got a total budget of $4,245,000 and some change. So holding 10% in undesignated fund balance would be $424,000. If we went 15%, which I think is a little excessive, but it's $636,000. So I had asked to have this schedule done to give us an idea of what sort of moderation we could have to the tax rate, and use some of those funds to give it back to the taxpayers. Because essentially it's unspent budgets that accumulate all that. And it just seems like an awful lot of money to be holding.
Yes.
And for the purposes of something. I don't know what the accumulation was initially about. Whether it was trying to accumulate enough in that fund to finance a large purchase, or what the issues were. So, granted this.
State DRA recommends retainage between 5 and 17%.
Every time I've talked to DRA, it's been between 10 and 15. So maybe they've gone up to 25, but...
There's a reason for that.
Okay.
If you read the small print, they figure it two ways. One of them that has the 17 is, correct me if I'm wrong, is appropriation budget. The other one is income and revenue. And one goes, and I was just looking at it, one goes like from 7 to 17, my numbers are wrong, but the other one goes like from 5 to 15. They give us a choice. So, but you're correct. Anything over 10% is.
It's pretty comfortable.
Yes, it is. I asked the question of DRA, why is it we're a little bit high? And they listed off a couple of things that are complimentary about the town. And one of them is the money that Clay Gallagher has saved and the income there. I mean, up until this year, it was over $500,000 since he's been there. So, some other things like the Lang Pond Road project was bid out at 160, came in at 147, and we haven't even spent all of that. So, whether it's good fortune or good management or good leaders or or whatever. It's a nice position to be in. But I do agree with you about using some of these funds.
I mean, we have one of the lowest tax rates in the state.
Yes, we do.
So there's a little bit of movement available in the event of an emergency. But I'm not saying that we should hold the tax rate at the current level. I mean, it's obviously gonna go up a little bit.
Mhm.
But if we can get into a pattern of making it grow at 3 or 4%, which is
Yep.
the economy growth, it would seem.
Can I ask Bill what your thoughts are, Bill?
Well, it's important that we have some money available in the undesignated fund balance, because that's what helps us pay the bills in between when we're collecting tax revenue. And that undesignated fund balance is going to continue to grow every year if we conservatively estimate revenues from other sources and don't spend every penny that's in the budget. Because the whole process we go through in projecting what we're going to spend is takes into account all of the money that's in the budget. So I agree that we need to take money out of the fund balance and apply it back against the requirements to, if we don't do that, it's just gonna grow forever.
Right.
And,
Right.
but I think that's why it grows. Revenue,
The only way it grows
well,
is revenue and underspent budgets.
that's exactly right. And it's a nice problem to have, as opposed to not having enough money to cover the requirements as they come along.
I guess my thought, not to belabor the discussion here, or we can belabor it if you want to, but if we were to put $300,000 against the 2018 budget, that would give us a 3.7% increase in taxes, a tax rate of $10.87, so a 40-cent tax growth, and we'd still have $1.2 million plus whatever accumulation happened in 17. So I mean, you have $1.25 million, maybe $1.3 million
Mhm.
in undesignated funds. That would be where I would come down on it.
What are your thoughts, Bill?
More than one to talk.
Do we have information about county or school district taxes for this year?
The school rate, the local education is 4.23, and the state education is 2.43.
And have we got anything from the county?
And the county would be 1.38.
So,
And with the 100,000 from unreserved fund balance, that leaves right now the municipal rate at 2.98.
I'm ready to make a motion if you gentlemen are.
Wait just 2 seconds.
yeah. That's right.
What was the municipal rate again? I'm sorry.
2.98.
So it went up 7 cents.
Yes.
So 73 cents is the net increase.
And you're suggesting that we apply $300,000?
That's what I was thinking, yeah. Let's see what it does to the, well, yeah, that's a 3.7% increase. That would be my recommendation. I'll make a motion if you want, you can vote it up or down.
I was gonna make the same motion, but go ahead, sir.
So what if we apply $350,000? Which makes that,
You're thinking of moderating the 47 cents of,
right,
right. It still leaves us with over $1.1 million, so I'm happy to go with 250. I'll make a motion that we apply $350,000 of our undesignated fund balance to offset taxes for 2018.
I'll second that. And under discussion, Diane, can you give us what the tax rate would be municipal, county, excuse me, what the municipal tax rate would be with that figure?
Okay.
'Cause
Okay, that would, with 350,000, it would be $273. I mean, $2.73. You're not paying attention.
So that would lower the current tax rate.
Right, but I think what we have to take into account is all the taxes.
Yes,
whether
yes.
local or
when somebody pays their tax bill,
they're not.
you know, the fact that the town taxes are lower or higher is only a part of what they see. I mean, the tax you pay, when you pay your tax bill, includes what we collect for the county and for the school district, as well as,
Can I borrow your?
Yep. And we don't run excessive uncollected taxes here.
No,
we're very good.
So I don't think reducing our undesignated fund balance is going to affect our credit.
Nope.
Not to borrow either.
What that would mean is that the new tax rate would be $10.77,
I think it,
correct?
yeah, that's what she had on that chart.
Yes. State education went down from 254 to 243. Local education went up 351 to 423. County went down 147 to 138. And municipal went up from 291 to 298. Excuse me,
Down.
291, it went down to 273. So are we ready to vote on these figures, gentlemen?
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
I'm ready. Yeah.
You want to stay with the 15,000 for overlay?
Yes, I do.
I'm just
Enlighten
bringing
me.
it up just to
Yes,
make sure.
that's an
we're
insurance
all-
policy, yes.
Okay.
Would you recommend that?
I talked with Rod Wood, and he said that should be adequate
Yep.
if one of the utility lawsuits.
Yes.
And went to their favor.
That was his
Yes.
recommendation to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there any further discussion? I'm ready to move the question. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Good job, guys. Diane, thank you for your work. You've
You're
labored
welcome.
long and hard on it.
I don't know whether we've got time this year to talk about it, but did you get a copy of the trust funds RSA that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so if you don't have it,
Right.
we're not gonna be informed enough to talk about it. But basically, it's to establish, take some of the undesignated fund, put it into a designated trust for health insurance. So that if we're faced with explosion in the cost of healthcare, we've got, we're not pushing the tax rate like crazy. We've
Yes.
actually got some money set aside. So I think we're all set for this year, but maybe we should put that on the agenda for next year.
To look at for going forward.
Yeah, I think even if we stay with our current health provider, we're only looking at an 11% increase, so it's not, I mean, it's still 11%, but it's not busting the budget, if you will. But I think it's something we should consider going forward. Thanks.
Sure. Do we need to take a break until 9 o'clock, or can we just get right into our normal business? Any thoughts?
I think we can go forward. You know, you've got appointments for later, but we could always start with some of the other stuff
Sure.
ahead of time.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just go into public input.
I just have a question. So at the $300,000, it was 3.7% increase in taxes?
Right, so it's a little less.
So what is it? Yeah, I know. Do you know that?
I could
You know that
figure it out.
percent?
I could figure it out for you if you want me to.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's see.
And this is the total tax bill, right?
277 divided by 1043, right?
The other way around.
3.26%.
Thank
That's what I
you.
get.
Oh, you beat me. Oh, it's that smartphone, that's what that is.
That'll be good for something, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Karen, I don't have a copy of the 10 and 13 minutes, I don't think.
You need the 1013?
Yeah.
350,000, not 300,000.
That's right.
think
At
I have-
300,000,
I don't have a
it was
copy of the agenda.
3.7.
Okay.
At 350,000, it's a 3.26%.
Okay.
Anything else from the public?
I appreciate you noting why we have so much in our undesignated fund balance. Talking about Clay's a perfect example, and the money he saves us and how all of that works, because sometimes people think it's just,
On that note, have you read his white paper he did a couple of years ago? There are 3 towns south of us that the compensation increases are funded out of recycling
I'd like
income
to.
and whatnot. I'll ask him for a copy of that. No, I haven't followed up and investigated what people think about it. In my tenure as selectman, I've had 5 current or former people from those towns say it's one of the best things they ever went to. It's a little creative, and the bottom line is, what's the difference whether the money goes into a budget or whether it goes
One of the,
as income? But it's an interesting thought, but I'll just let you look at it.
one of the canards that seems to live forever with absolutely no basis in fact is that if you give government money, they're gonna spend every penny of it. If you give a department money, they're gonna spend to the end. At the end of the year, they're gonna take all the money they have left and buy some gadget. If that were actually the case, we wouldn't have any designated fund balance, because the only way you can accumulate money is to underspend budgets and create revenue.
Well, And if we overestimated other revenue sources
Yeah.
and spent everything in the budget, then we would diminish the amount in the undesignated fund balance. But the whole system is designed to provide a cushion.
That actually happened in Carroll County when I was the
Well, yeah,
treasurer.
right.
Yes.
They overestimated the revenues so that they could balance their budget and spend all their reserve, and that was the end. of it.
Right. And so then they had to borrow to pay bills.
Yeah, yeah, and have a special.
we're not gonna let that happen here.
No, no.
And we're
So
actually
thank you,
fiscally
I just wanted to
conservative
comment
here.
on that. Appreciate it.
Anything else from the public? Okay. Do you guys have minutes?
Yep.
Let's zip down to the minutes.
Yeah.
Let's start with the minutes for Friday, October 13th. Any changes, gentlemen? I have none.
I have none.
I have none. Move approval as presented.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is Monday, October 16th. I have nothing.
I had just one on page 3, just for clarification.
Page 3.
Page 3, second paragraph, last sentence. Chairman Wood read verbiage into the record in regards to one of the utility court decisions. It isn't a utility court. It's a decision about the utilities, but I think just saying one of the court decisions would be
Yes.
Yeah.
clear enough.
Okay.
So delete utility.
Okay.
I have no problem with that. Anything else?
Move approval as corrected.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Next will be Friday, October 20th. I have nothing, John.
I don't have anything.
I'm good.
Is there a motion?
I'll move approval.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I figured this to be a long meeting.
No, it's not.
Have we already done Friday, October 13th?
We
Yeah.
just did it.
We just did it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the legal budget today?
Yes.
We just got the breakdown. I don't know if that might be something quick we could blast through.
Okay, let's do that.
Right.
Yes, I got a copy of it.
The budget that we approved was $42,800.
Yes.
And what we had asked the office to provide to us was a breakdown of whose department spent the money. And the breakdown occurred in this sequence. It was $37,700 to executive, $2,500 to planning board, $1,000 to the ZBA, $400 for conservation, and $600 for cemetery, $600 for trustees of the trust fund. And I'd like to have a discussion, I guess, before we make a motion, of whether or not to break these, all of those budgets that I mentioned have a line for legal. And currently, the selectmen are being observed as being the expenders of all the funds.
Mhm.
And while it's a vast majority of the funds, I think it would be informative for the public and maybe a better way to do our bookkeeping to break that down by department.
I think it makes a lot of sense. What do you think?
We already did this.
Did we?
On the 20th. The problem is, am I right, Karen?
Yeah.
The total amount we had was wrong, okay?
Right, the amount
So
for the
we-
first line, you folks
Yeah.
had a too low of a number to make it be a total of 42,800.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So we just
So
need
I
to,
just revisited something we'd already done.
yeah, but that's,
I'm old and I forget. That's how it works.
Although, in your presentation to the budget committee, I don't think it has, I don't have a problem with it being broken down this way.
yeah, yeah,
The other thing is, and I think you made the comment at the last meeting, legal fees are not just court cases, suits. They're, getting the easements negotiated, a lot of other things. I have no problem with this
So-
format going forward. Do we
so-
need a motion?
we need to move for a total of $42,800 for the total legal budget. Is that,
I'll second.
that's right.
In that one line there, the first one, the,
All right, so.
needs to be 37,700. You folk, at the
All right.
20th, you guys said 35.
So general legal is 37,700,
Yeah.
and the total budget then would be $42,800.
Mhm.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. me start on signature file. Everyone has read Jack Parsons' folder. It's just normal paperwork. There's no questions I'm aware of.
Was there anything new from Friday?
Hmm?
Anything new from Friday?
Not in signature, I don't think. Oh, on that one. I think so.
On the top of,
I guess that,
go ahead.
we're rushing right along, we got 5 extra minutes. One question I think we really have to look at some point in our lives is we've got a building permit in there for the director of Camp Sentinel, I think.
Yes,
So now we're gonna create another residential property sitting on tax-free land.
yes.
I'm not certain I'm happy with that. And I think we need to have a discussion about it. We're spending some money on the roads that go into these camps, whether it's Northwood or Sentinel
Yes.
or any of them. To say nothing of the fire and police. So I think it's pushing the envelope of tax exemption a bit far when you start building personal residence. I mean, I think we need to have a sit down and chat about that. Because what happens when, okay, then our waterfront director needs a house to live in, our cook staff needs a house to live in. Pretty soon you've got a tax-free commune going at every one of these places. And they'll say I'm being a little bit dramatic about it, but if we need to establish a line beyond which we're not gonna go,
Correct.
that's all.
Do you want this particular item to be put on our next meeting's budget for?
No, I don't think there's any way to stop it. I mean, you can't stop them from using their property for whatever purposes. The question is whether or not it's taxable. And then we can wait until the winter to talk about it from that perspective. I mean, I don't think we can bar them from building something.
Right.
And I don't think we would want to do that. I just think we need to establish what's taxable, what isn't.
Right. And I think you've stated it well, you're not being adversarial, you're just looking out for the tax dollars.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I suppose we can really dig down and do a cost analysis on what does it cost
Right.
and present that, but I think we have to be in agreement on the direction we're going. I mean, Chip can decide he doesn't like it, but there's 3 of us here. It's
Yes.
not just me deciding something.
I noticed that under correspondence, there's 2 camps that have given a payment in lieu of taxes, part of the pilot program.
Right, right.
I pulled them out to make sure they were read into the record.
Yeah,
So-
and I think that's admirable, and,
Yep.
and the unfortunate part is that there are camps that, for whatever bizarre reading of language, have decided that payments in lieu of taxes is somehow a slippery slope towards taxation. In lieu of has a meaning. It's even in Black's Law Dictionary, so.
Sure.
But Boston decides a lot of stuff for
Yes.
people not talking about, so.
Right.
All right, thanks.
On the top thing to be signed is the dental coverage and rates. Do we want to wait until we're talking health insurance under continued business, or is dental?
It's separate.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
separate.
Yeah, and I don't think we have a lot of choice. I think Delta's the only game in town.
Right. Have you folks read this?
And do we know how this compares to the current rate?
Diane can give us that info. Want me to call her back in?
Or we can defer that for,
Okay.
to deal with it for later.
Yep, okay, next item is Sodom Road Bridge repair design. This repair proposal is to extend the time life of the bridge until it can be replaced. Have you folks read this?
I have.
I have two, and I guess, are we going in that direction on Sodom Road?
It makes sense to me to look into that option.
Get a cost?
To get a cost
Okay.
on fixing the bridge. Don't know what the opportunity for moving forward the state aid bridge program schedule is, but every piece of information we put together, I think, can help us with our case there. And ultimately, whether we live with the reduced capacity on the bridge until whenever the state program comes into account, or we decide to take a different approach and fix it.
We'll need to-
The first step is to get some information about what the cost is going to be.
Total cost, Mr. Chairman? Total is $7,500.
Yeah, and if I may add, that's just for
$7,250.
them to do the design work.
That's design
And then
work.
if you folks want them to go out and do the bidding, that's not included in
But
there.
the design work will give us the parameters.
Then you
to
can,
Right.
yep, exactly, I just wanna make sure, yep.
Just let me read what was sent to us. Dear Selectmen, I spoke with Chris at HEB. Please see below correspondence as well. He explained that the attached proposal is for $7,250 and is to prepare the engineering plans for a contractor to repair the bridge. It doesn't include what the repair will cost. Those costs would come after a contractor reviewed the plans. If putting the project out to bid is something that the selectmen are interested in, HEB facilitating that can be added to the proposal. This includes the contract preparation, see the email below. He also pointed out that although the town has received preliminary estimates of bridge aid for Sodom Road and Tuftonboro Neck Road for 7/1/24 and 7/1/2026 respectively, the state has not yet accepted the town's application for construction, confirming that the funds will be available. In addition to the uncertainty of funding, his opinion is that Sodom Road Bridge likely will not last 10 years until the replacement is estimated to happen. He has also noted that if we had a contractor ready to go with the repair project, it likely could be done as soon as this year. If the project is put out to bid, then he estimates that the repairs could be done in the spring. I have a couple of thoughts. During this last storm,